Hello and welcome back to round 4 of the GOAT Grand Prix here in Halle. 4 is the number after 3, and we have two persons here who haven't lost yet, so they are probably they probably know what they're doing, and we are very interested in what they are doing. They just rolled the die and now are drawing their cards, so we can see what they are up to.
Yeah, we can go to the table now. I found my voice again. You can say I was voiceless for a time.
Yeah, but now you got your voiceless voice back, and we are seeing Thunder Dragons, and Thunder Dragons are a good card in GOAT format because you can discard one and search 2 others. You can search 1 other, or in GOAT specifically, you can find no other Thunder Dragons.
You can fail to find one. Okay, we have Bernd versus Ingo here. I don't know either player. I don't know what they are playing because, also we couldn't do the interview because our feature match was the very last table to finish. So we just had to pick a table really quick. We went with undefeated player. I would have loved to feature Grumple, but Grumple isn't undefeated anymore, so he lets me down as he usually does.
Yeah, it happens. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and losing one isn't the out for the run, so maybe we see him in top cut.
I think you finally get your wish because this looks like a turbo mirror.
Yeah, if I see one anymore. Turbo mirror. We love to see the turbo mirror. Upstart into pot, into grace, discard Thunder Dragon, and is it a serpent? Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
Duo,
and now
Trinity.
We got the duo, and Trinity got resolved, and that's why we are here. That's why we love GOAT formats so much, because there are a lot of good cards that can be activated. Sniping the Thunder Dragon out of the hand is not the best usage of duo, but getting rid of the other Thunder Dragon makes the potential Grace top deck from Bernd very less good.
This is the first full Trinity we've seen all day performed in one turn by Ingo. Ingo definitely did draw well here. Let's see if Bernd can come back from this.
Now you always want to get rid of the set monster without attacking it, because if there is a Magician of Faith that could be devastating.
I don't think if you're Ingo you're setting Magician here, because it's very likely that Bernd has a Nobleman, and you want to bait out the Nobleman first, because as you pointed out, you need a Nobleman here. You can't afford to risk a Magician, so this is why you don't set a Magician if you have anything else to set. And with that many cards which Ingo picked up, it's very likely that there was another thing to bait out Knock here with. And
yeah, but you have to use it. That's what I wanted.
Yeah, you have to. And it was a Dark Mimic, so this is actually another control.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a turbo with metas.
That is what we call control.
But yeah.
So yeah, it's probably a control variation of some sort. So if there's mimics, there will be metas as well. But Bernd seems to be more on the traditional turbo decks by attacking here. And now we see duo on Bernd's side, kindly evening the score. And the Serpent of Ingo currently sitting in his graveyard, not able to be the Scarred Follower. So this was a good duo. Also sniping a live card.
Yeah, and the Tribe Infecting Virus is a very good live card against 2 spies staring you down.
With Serpent in hand.
With Serpent in hand. It's even better. But not having access to your Tribe Infecting Virus makes the situation for Ingo a little worse.
We see Wing Blast main decked here by Ingo, which is
in
really good.
In standby phase, so he gets his Serpent back immediately.
Yes, and it's a really good card for this matchup because it slows your opponents down. Wing Blast is not as good against aggro variants, and there is a spy by Ingo, and now we see a full spy board. JDZ would be proud, you don't know this, but if JDZ lost one thing, then that is multiple spies are sitting on the board and doing nothing.
Yeah, and we like spies doing nothing as well, because they are spying on each other, and as spies should do, they are just looking.
Yeah, but what spy is spying the other spy? Or is there a double agent which in fact spies the own spy which spies the other spy?
Maybe there's a double agent if one of the spies gets mind controlled. but without the mind control, I'm not seeing any double agents here.
2 spies taking themselves out, so we only have 2 left now. The players are agreeing with us, like 4 spies is pretty boring, so let's lessen this. Another Wing Blast!
And slowly but surely, Ingo crawls his way back into more advantage.
Yeah, he doesn't need to crawl back after opening full Trinity turn 1 with Thunder Dragon Serp.
Yeah, but I mean, he is not doing anything else. Like, his hand was very passive after resolving Trinity. And
this is also a mirror match if you ever seen one. Both fields were mirroring each other for a moment there. So Magician gets flipped now, and getting back Grace with Serpent in hand. This is so brutal. There's a Magician, and yeah, again, he baited that nobleman. He did it correctly, and now he...
Yeah, and Bernd played the way he needed to play, so he had no choice but to use the nobleman on the Dark Mimic instead of the Magician of Faith, because if Ingo played the bluffing game and won, it would be devastating. Now he's in an equally good position, but and with the Tsukuyomi he gets a potential add back of another spell card next turn. So yeah.
But maybe Bernd has a Magician face. Do we see the third Wing Blast? Wow!
Yeah, and Wing Blast is a good card, and if you can't play the game for 3 turns in a row, maybe you're... he clears out the Magician now with the Sengan to not get Tsuku-locked. So he commits in a fairly weak monster, but maybe Sangan is the key to unclock his deck, because now there are no Wing Blasts left for Ingo.
I'm not a huge control expert, as you know, but I would say resolving triple Grace in a game is pretty good.
Yeah, and I think giving your opponent the same card as a draw 3 turns in a row is also pretty good.
Yeah, it seems like you're drawing 12 cards and your opponent...
and there's a Night Assailant to get back your Magician to get even more advantage, like getting maybe a Grace from the graveyard. We haven't seen that one before yet.
This is why we all play Godfrey, because it's fair, it's balanced, there are no overpowered cards at all, and it's a skill-based game.
I mean, at least all the powerful cards are good in all the powerful decks.
Yes, this is right.
I mean, you could argue that maybe putting the good cards only in the bad decks balance the format, but I think that's a comment that only people online
I think that Graceful Charity has to file a complaint after the game, because it's definitely working overtime in this match, activating it the 4th time now.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I mean, what cards do you want to draw at this point?
It's like another Night Assailant.
Nah, he gets a Night Assailant back, but we maybe... And there is another draw. I mean, soon Bernd gets the win con of decking Ingo out.
There's no way that Ingo is not winning this game. It's way too much advantage here. Bernd has some resources left, but it's no way near enough. And now finally the first Chaos Monster will hit the board. We see Chaos Sork banishing that Zangan for good, which now can't search anything. And let's see if we see some more plays here. Just a set monster, maybe. So many cards in Ingo's hand. He barely can hold them.
Yeah, I mean, if you got all the cards, you are also... Oh, and there's a Pot of Greed from the top of the deck.
Okay, so Bernd now also resolving 2 Trinity pieces, but only once. Which is... Oh, there's a Magician! Yeah, he can do it as well.
There is Pot of Greed.
Drawing 4 cards is better than drawing 2 cards.
Yeah, I think drawing more cards to get you back into the game is definitely good. And we are seeing a lot of dangerous cards in Bernd's hand.
Ooh,
and one of them is Snatch Steal that forces out the mythical Space Typhoon, which is a very good answer to the Snatch Steal, to be fair.
Especially because Ingo is probably not on Raigeki breaks, because he already burned through 3 Wing Blasts, so we can assume that are the only discard traps he's playing. And now Bernd says, you can Chaos, I can Chaos as well. And summons his own Chaos Sorcerer, probably yes, to banish the Chaos Sork of Ingo. And yeah, we joked about how unfair Ingo's plays were, resolving that many Graces, but Bernd is climbing back in this one, and Ingo had the second Magician, which was Nobleman, and would you say Bernd can win this?
I think the possibilities are there because not only has Bernd now also 4 monsters on board and 2 back row and still cards in hand, but yeah, both of them have a lot of access to a lot of cards, and yeah, I think the big Blackluster Soldier is definitely a card that could come handy here.
I honestly, if you would ask me, you have to jump in. Which position do you want to take? I actually would think about taking Bernd's position because he also has a lot more life points, which can be important. And now Ingo storms, but both back rows of Bernd were chainables. Yeah. And Ingo loses Mirror Force in the process.
I think Bernd is now in a very good position.
It looks like it. He just has to survive whatever is coming down next, and now we see, yeah, it will hit the board very soon. Second Chaos Hawk by Ingo, and banishing the Chaos Hawk of Bernd. Also, Bernd now has more Chaos left than Ingo. Ingo already burned through 2, and Bernd still has 2 left. Yes. Let's see, and there is Dekuichi being normal summoned. This is to apply pressure, obviously attack our Magician to rule out the possibility of a Tsuku lock on Bernd's side. But Bernd already used Snatch, but there's also the big bad BLS in Bernd's deck left.
Yes, and there's only 1 back row, and Bernd still...
We see Dekuichi getting a quick draw in, this certainly helps. And we see a look into the graveyard, so possibly a Chaos Monster incoming. And Ingo has not that much life left. There's a Kaiku main deck. Mirror Force is gone, so you can extend here now.
And the Kaiku prevents Ingo from dropping his big bad BLS.
Yeah, but Bernd definitely has to find an out for Chaos Hawk, which he doesn't seem to quite have just yet. Because, yeah, he can run over Kaiku, he can clear a bit of Ingo's grave, but he, yeah, Chaos Hawk can just banish that Kaiku and then... And doubling the Dekuichi seems like a weird play to me.
I mean, maybe there's like a Book of Moon left that can prevent... there's a Dark Monster Engrave that was missing.
Still don't know why he didn't attack with Kaiku. Like, if you summon Kaiku, you want to attack with it, I think. And Book of Moon, setting that Chaos Hawk, very good answer. Yeah, I think that was a misplay from Bernd, not attacking with... Or maybe he was missing a Dark Engrave.
Yeah, he was missing a Dark Engrave. That's why he doubled. That's what I said.
Yeah, that's why E is up there 3-0 and I am up here with no wins. Because, yeah, obviously I missed that one. Yes. But
and there is Tsukuyomi again dealing with these pesky normal summons.
Yeah, this was quite good. Chaos Hawk, and now Ingo is back again in the driver's position. Both players are now lower on resources, and yeah, Chaos Hawk is just...
But Bernd should be lower on resources because Ingo still has his full hand, and Bernd just plays with the cards he's getting.
Yeah, for sure. So Tsukuyomi is able to flip face down Chaos Hawk, which will be flipped up face up again. Tsukuyomi attacks into a Night is Silent, and Filch gets finally rid of that pesky Chaos Sorcerer, which did so much trouble to Bernd. And now Bernd has to find the top deck. Kaiku is gone, so...
And we just passed turn there, and we are waiting for...
Normal Summon Dekuichi is a very, very good play here, because you can deal some damage, and you still have Tsukuyomi in hand to get a card with
get the draw, yeah.
Yes, so definitely a very good play here by Ingo, who now finally can capitalize on the insane amount of damage.
Yeah, and we mentioned it before that Dekuichi is a very versatile card because it had these 1400 attack points and also his very good flip effect. So it's both a defensive and an kinda offensive tool if there are no other monsters on board.
Oh, now we see a commitment, normal summoning that Spy. Definitely want to deal a lot more damage here. It seems like both attacks will connect here, putting Bernd on a one-turn clock here. Ingo can really afford to be offensive with a flip monster here because of that Tsukuyomi in hand. Such a good card.
Yeah, and now that Bernd has his 2 back row cards that seem to not do anything.
Bernd shuffled up, and you have to give it up for Bernd. Like, Ingo resolved 4 Graceful Charities in this game, all with Serpent in hand, and Bernd still up.
Duo and Pot, so yeah, there were a lot of good cards on Ingo's side, and a lot of them were resolved multiple times, and Bernd did put up a fight despite his position that was not good from the get-go.
Yeah, he put up a really, really good fight. And also, side taking is now quite interesting because I'm not quite sure what Ingo is playing, because it looked like a standard turbo, but the Dark Mimic level 1 really throws me off.
Yeah, I think he really likes his draw power. And if he plays his set of Dekoichi, he might want to not play 3, to not be that weak against Nobleman. So he plays his 1 Dark Mimic level 1 and 2 Dekoichi to like have the most possible draw power he can afford to put into his deck before it gets too much.
Yeah, also triple Wing Blast, a really interesting decision by Ingo to main deck that. Not many players are going with triple discard traps, but it really put in work.
I spotted a very interesting card in Ingo's main deck there. That was next to one of the Wing Blasts, and it was a Royal Decree main deck.
Maybe it was a side deck card, I don't know for sure, but
isn't his side deck on the other side?
I don't exactly know.
Yeah, maybe, but the Royal Decree is definitely an interesting card there.
Do you maybe want to pull up the chat? Maybe the people have something interesting to say. After that, we have, like we say in Germany, Bergfest. We are halfway through the Swiss portion of the tournament, because again we have 7 rounds of Swiss today with a cut to the top 8 players. If you are X1, you're definitely topping. So let us know. Is there something interesting in the chat?
No, there is not much activity in the chat since last round. If you have any questions about the tournament, you can ask them. We will have the opportunity to look into the chat, especially if there is like side decking going on, because both players want to either apply a little bit more pressure on the opponent now after side decking, or try to fortify their position a little bit more and try to deal with the opponent's flip monsters better than they can. So Bernd needs an answer for these Wing Blasts that put him very much on the back foot in game 1, more than the Trinity Resolve did. And Ingo needs to find a way to keep his momentum going, and I'm very interested in what their strategies are after side decking.
It all comes down to how both players are able to start, because like Bernd was pretty much toe-to-toe with Ingo, but Ingo had this amazing start with full Trinity, which put him on the advantage, and this was like he capitalized on that the whole match.
Yeah, I mean, it looked always equal on the playing field, but the difference were the 5 cards more in Ingo's hand the whole time.
So Bernd is able to open up the Thunder Ring, which is very, very important. I would say one of the most important cards you can open as a Chaos Turbo player, because you are way better off with a Light Engrave than with no light, and also you have discard fodder and so on. Your deck is thinned out. Upstart Goblin now finds another card here, putting Ingo to 9,000 life points. Timeout not nearly a factor right now, so you are free to give your opponent some life heal.
Yeah, I mean, they both play a form of Chaos Turbo, and the Turbo in the name equals we are not getting near the timeout. That's what Turbo stands for. Not for getting more access to your Chaos monster.
As you see another Thunder Dragon being discarded. We were asked about spicy decks by Chris in the chat. There were a lot of spicy decks. We had, in fact, in 1-2 we had a zombie mirror match on stream, which were undefeated at that time. But unfortunately, no spicy deck undefeated. Besides one, which is a Monarch deck, which didn't want to be featured just yet. So and there's Grace again, and Ingo is making this hand gesture like, yeah, what should I do? There it is.
I mean, it's a good card, and you always want to resolve it.
So I have to ask Chris in chat. You're saying we are sounding like 2 old golf announcers. Is this a compliment?
I think it's a compliment, because if you're old and a golf announcer, that means you either are very good at putting other people to sleep, or you are so long into the job and not got fired
that you're doing something right.
That you're doing something right. So yeah, and now we get the standard opening. Both have his flip monster, both have a back row. and then the spy gets flipped and is doing some espionage there. And now we are getting the nobleman. We are flipping the spy before, nobleman, just because we do not want to get rid of our own spies.
Okay, and now do we see triple deco for Ingo? Now we see only two. So maybe there is indeed a control package in Ingo's deck, and this is why the Dark Mimic in main deck was there. And it was meant as a compliment. We sound professional AF. This is a nice compliment.
Definitely. And now there's the duo, so we are getting Trinity pieces for everyone. This time there's everything.
To be fair, Bernd also was able to resolve duo in game 1, and we see a magician being sniped. And if you're Bernd, you're really happy to see that hit the grave after the trauma it caused in game 1.
Yeah, definitely. And Bernd seems to be a little bit of a better sharpshooter than Ingo, because his duo hit twice and Ingo's didn't. So, yeah.
Gotta practice your dice rolls if you want to be a good gold player. And there we finally see the control package confirmed in Ingo's deck. Metamorphosis hitting the board, and there we have a ring and Decree being changed. You were correct. Decree is in fact part of the deck. This is so good because you can double the Thousand Eyes. Both spies are gone there. You blinked and you missed it, and Thousand Eyes can't be destroyed by battle, just stays there in chills.
Yeah, it's a very important line of text. And now we got the perfect answer in form of the tribe infecting virus that also swings in for juicy 1600 attack. Now there is a decree up, but also, 1600 is a number.
It's a number, but it's not hard to overcome. Post side there very well. Maybe cards like Kaiku in Ingo's hand. We saw Serpent being at back, so if there is a second Metamorphosis, there would also be an out against Tribe. And also you can just set Serpent and soak damage up and sit behind it.
So we just...
And what is a Night Silent? So he had the out against Tribe.
Yeah. Night is Silent, also a very good card. And now we are activating Pot of Greed to draw these two cards from the top of your deck. That's a very important line on that card as well.
Ingo again finding his power spells quite early, which could lead him to maybe an undefeated record. And now we see the first Chaos Monster of the game hitting the board. It's a Chaos Monster trying to swing. There won't be a trap interfering with that, and so Bernd takes first damage of that game.
And there's also another back row. Now, what do we want to set here? That could be the bait, but one nobleman is already gone. Yeah. So maybe we are now committing to a good card.
It's the obvious answer would be Serpent, but maybe it's just a reflip. And there is a Kaiku. If it's a Serpent, this Kaiku will be huge. And it is a Magician. Ingo again is able to recycle Grace. Or does he want to take Pot? I think with Serpent hand you definitely want to take Grace here, and this is exactly what he does.
And Graceful Charity, definitely a very good card. So, and now we have to apply a little bit more pressure, because Kaiku definitely protects your Chaos Monster, protects you from Chaos Monsters, and with the 2300 from Chaos Sorcerer on your side of the field, you are in a very good position.
Yeah, but it's a dangerous position, because all Ingo needs is a breaker right now, and everything is gone for Bernd. Yes. And we know that Ingo can dig deeper for former cards, draw first turn plus Grace.
But so maybe we got a good card.
Oh, I see something hitting the board really soon, which also is devastating for Bernd if he has no answer. And let's see if Ingo wants to commit to it. It is a question, what is the face turn of Bernd? Maybe it is a quick spell which can interfere, but we try to snatch CS back.
It's not the Book of Moon.
And it's also not the MST. So it's successful there. And now you're in the nice spot that you're gaining life points for nothing each turn, if you are Ingo.
Yes.
And Ingo values the damage more than damaging Kaiku, which is a good play because Bernd already has plenty Darks the Graveyard, so recognizing that dealing a bit of damage here is good. Bernd also gets some life points back, but yeah. Yeah,
and all the back row is not real under Royal Decree, so until there is the Mystical Space Typhoon or the Heavy Storm, I think Bernd is in a tough spot there.
But Heavy Storm isn't doing much, because you get rid of Decree, but the Chaos Sorcerer would stay where it is, because it is originally Ingo's. So you need to only remove the opponent's statue. And we see a chaos hitting the board here. I think you have to get rid of the opponent's chaos also.
Definitely, because gaining life points for nothing is never a good thing.
And also Chaos Hawk could banish your own Chaos Hawk next turn, so you need to get rid of it. And we see a Thunder Dragon plus BLS! This is it!
That's it.
This is how fast Chaos Turbo can put up damage! Zangan in attack mode is not doing good for Ingo here, and that's why life point ranges are as important as they are in the Chaos Turbo Mirror Match, because you can deal like 5-6k in an instant, and Ingo and Bernd demonstrated just that.
Yes, and it's over in a blink of an eye, and now we are going into Game 3. And what are the things you want to switch up for Game 3?
It's a tough question. So now Bernd definitely has the confirmation that Ingo is on the control package, and Bernd also saw the decree, which might influence some decisions, because you can assume if Ingo boards into decree, he will side out some Wing Blasts.
Yes.
Which kind of changes the dynamic of the whole game. But this could also be like a ploy of Ingo, who's like, okay, he saw the decrees, he saw that I'm side deck out Wing Blast, so now I switch it up again, bring up the Wing Blast in the main again, and leave my decree in the side deck.
And now, while we were talking, I glanced over at our second screen where we are seeing the side deck process, and I glanced on the method they are side decking, and they both shuffle all the side deck in their main deck and then looking which cards are bad. That's why I was confused with the Royal Decree last game.
This is why we were spotting the Royal Decree, which it wouldn't make much sense main deck with Wing Blasts in the main. And smoke screening is a very good way to sideboard, because you're denying your opponent important information. Because if you smoke screen, like as you described, shuffle your whole side deck into your main deck and then put out 15 cards, your opponent does not know how many cards you boarded, or if you boarded at all. And this can really crucial, because good players will pick up on it. Like, good players will watch you while you are side decking, and they will see, okay, they only send 3 cards, so it's unlikely they change a lot of the strategy, and they can adjust to that.
Yeah, and if you like scrub a tournament and are X3 in round 3, all your opponents are like, yeah, no, I didn't bring my side deck today, and they're like openly talking about what they are siding. And side decking is such a crucial point of Yu-Gi-Oh! And it gets you a very huge advantage into the next game if you know what you're doing.
You have to admit, like, everyone is always focusing on perfecting the main deck, but you're playing at least as many games with side decking as with your main deck. You're most certainly play more even, because you have some game freeze going on like we see now. So having side deck plans, adjusting your deck perfectly for side decking is really, really, really important, and can't be underestimated, especially in a format which is solved like this one. Like, an intelligent side deck plan can make all the difference.
Yes, the main decks are often like almost interchangeable if you play a mirror or something that seems to be a mirror like this one, and then the cards you put into your side deck are the important cards. And now we are seeing that our players are ready to go into Game 3, I believe, so we are switching back and seeing that they are starting their game number 3.
Ingo has the big advantage of going first here, which is indeed a big advantage in the format. If you're an advanced player, you might not recognize it, but you're allowed to have a draw in your draw phase in turn 1, so you always start with 1 card more if you're able to start the game, or you just start with 2 cards more if you're able to find that Thunder Dragon, which Ingo now found in his opening hand every 3 games.
Yes, and if Bernd in his turn also activates Thunder Dragon, we have seen 6 Thunder Dragon activations this game.
All in turn 1.
All in turn 1.
In their respective turns.
Yeah.
There's an upstart. Let's find that Grace. Come on, Ingo, you can do it.
Yeah, come, put it on the field. We want to see the Grace.
No Grace. Grace is gracing not enough of her graciness. Gracefulness.
I mean, he got graced enough in game 1, so maybe. Yeah, great.
He pretty much activated Graceful more than I did the whole last year, so it's...
Yeah, so, and there we got the Thunder Dragon, so we are 6 for 6 with these Thunder Dragons on the in this game. And it's funny that Ingo every time puts the deck of Bernd on the wrong side of the table, and he always has to take his time to put it back where it belongs.
Yeah, it's kind of unusual. Bernd obviously is a left-hander, so he draws from the left side. So if you're a right-handed player, you are not used to that. Duo is not as effective as it would be without Thunder Dragon, and it's only sniping Thunder Dragon, so 2 are gone now. At least the discard for the resources are gone. And that's the only thing Bernd can do besides the set monster. Do we see a flip now? Maybe a Deku, maybe a Spy, or was it a bait all along on Ingo's side?
Yeah, I mean, you want... Okay, there's a nobleman, and we are getting rid of spies. There is no secret intelligence in this game.
So Ingo definitely does not have a Spy face down, because he would have flipped his Spy before he knocked.
Yeah, like we saw last game by Bernd.
Because of that reason, because if you knock an opponent's Spy, you would lose your targets. And so we see there's a Dark Mimic! No, making an appearance. I can't talk anymore. Getting a draw for Ingo, and save me from mispronouncing anything anymore.
I love this little critter. Dark Mimic level 1 is one of my favorite goat cards. It's adorably yeah, it gets in, and then we are going for the Southern Ice Restrict, which can block all of the advancements Bernd needs, and he needs to commit something now to get rid of it.
This is a very interesting play, to just blindly use your Dark Mimic for meta here. You rarely see this, that a player just commits to a Relinquish without anything to suck up. And I think it's because he was threatened that his Dark Mimic could have been destroyed by battle, and it was his only meta target. He wanted to use it now.
And also, both of the Turbo games kind of went on a little bit, so maybe we are now in the position where you need to be a little bit cautious about the timer. Okay, so not getting attacked here and being 100 up is maybe a good thing.
Okay, so very interesting here. 2 things. We saw that Ingo lost his wing blast, so he most likely sided out Decrease again. And we see the shotgun Raigeki break. I don't know if I like it, because you could at least waited for Ingo to target the breaker until you break. It doesn't think it makes that much of a difference. But Ingo has the perfect answer, because he summoned what?
Yeah, he summoned his own breaker, and his breaker was 300 up, because he didn't use the back row pop.
Bernd's breaker broke already. This is why Ingo's breaker had more breaking power and broke Bernd's breaker.
That's your way of saying it.
I'm proud of that sentence, that I didn't fumble it.
Yeah, so we got rid of one of the Phoenix Wingwind Blasts in the back row of Ingo with our Heavy Storm to get our Flip Monster possibly into the next turn.
Yeah, and that Flip Monster was just set, and Ingo upstarted and still can't find a Trinity piece. But
now we got a new card.
And that's a Wingblast. Oh. Bernd made a small, we say in Germany, Flüchtigkeitsfehler there, where he sent his card to the grave and not to the deck, which is easy fixable, but gave Ingo the important information that it was a Night Assailant. And Ingo was able to recycle his Dark Mimic while discarding Night Assailant. But now Bernd doesn't want to see this breaker any longer, uses a combination of Book and Kaiku to stomp it to the ground.
Book and Kaiku together are like Tsukuyomi at home. But now with the added floodgate effect of not getting punished by the Chaos Monster. But losing 2 of your precious graveyard resources there, and both of them being light, is kind of unfortunate for Bernd there.
Okay, Ingo had the opportunity. He had not the opportunity. This is like, if he still would have had Thunder Ring in hand, he could have tributed Kaiku to deny Bernd the possibility to steal it back. Yes. And this is why doing the Thunder Rings away wasn't a bad thing. But Deku was flipped, and Bernd did a good bait. He is setting the morph because he accidentally revealed Night Assailant earlier, so hoping to get that morph through, but he didn't. Nobleman getting rid of all morphs that ever were. And now we stare at quite a bit of damage.
And now, with all of the Thunder Dragons gone and all of the Magician of Faith gone, what light targets does Bernd have left for his plenty Chaos Monsters.
BLS.
Yeah,
And that's it.
That should be it. Maybe there's a DD Warrior Lady somewhere in the deck, but yeah.
We see the Chaos Hawk, and I see a very interesting card in Ingo's hand, and I'm quite curious if he wants to use it in main phase 2, but we will see some attacks first. Ingo is looking to seal this one up. He knows that Bernd has a Thunder Dragon and a Night Sound in hand, I think, and another set monster here. He's not using the card I was alluding to earlier. We can talk about it maybe later. But now Bernd has to do something, and he does. He finds Grace.
Graceful Charity is possibly one of the greatest cards you could have drawn here, because getting 3 cards that possibly out these miserable situation could, yeah, be the game changer. But despite drawing 3 cards, he is in a very tough spot.
Yeah, and also he can't get value out of the Night Assault in his hand because Kaiko removed all the flips in the graveyard, and he discarded Upstart, which means the card he kept must be pretty good. There's a set monster which is most likely the Night Assault we saw revealed earlier, but let's see what Ingo does about it. He has a set monster. This has to be the Dark Mimic to get yet another draw, and Ingo is so deep into his deck. Pot and Grace has to come. They have to come somehow.
Definitely. I mean, it's only a matter of time until you draw these cards. We are thinking, and there is
Metamorphosis, and now we can go into a level 6. This is most likely a Rio Senshi, which can negate normal traps. So if you have a Torrential, if you have a Mirror Force, then you, it just will get negated for the cost of 1,000 life points. The utility you have while playing Metamorphosis is really, really huge. Dark Mimic gets flipped, and there it is!
Yeah, I mean, it was a matter of time. You can't be mad about drawing these kind of cards that late into the game.
Yeah, I said Ingo was that deep. Like, he drew multiple times with Upstart, with Dark Mimic, twice with Deco. You have to find your Trinity pieces eventually.
I mean, and now we stare at a board with a lot of cards, and we just look, and
Deco attacks into the Night Assailant.
Night Assailant gets rid of the Kaiku, so he has his Dark and his Light in graveyard.
Yeah, and he also didn't get rid of Rio Senshi, so the face down card most likely not a trap, which is important to him. But yeah, as you pointed out correctly, Light Dark is now live. Bernd can maybe summon BLS and come back here.
Yes, and BLS is the hope of Bernd now, and these back row on Ingo's side could be.
Oh, there it is. We talked it in existence, and now he wants to bench the set monster because it can be something dangerous there. Yeah, but you can't get rid of much, and Ingo has many ways to come back here.
Yeah, and I mean, summoning the Blackluster Soldier in defense should be okay.
Banishing this was the right play because there was also BLS, and now Bernd is basically telling Ingo, come on out that. But if Ingo finds an out, he still has a Rio Senshi to negate trap cards.
And he got the level 1 on board,
and
there is the Southern Ice, and if there is no response,
and that we see the fist bump, and Ingo is popping off, deservedly so. Very intense, very well played match from these two duelists, and Ingo is one step closer to getting into top cut and maybe clutching one of those 3 valuable invites today.
Yeah, definitely on the right path there. Not losing is always a good start to possibly winning in the end. And so we will have.
You know what? This time you are allowed to stand up.
I'm allowed to stand up.
You are allowed to stand up.
Did you prepare a Halle effect?
No, but I can. Nah, don't read from your notes. I don't know what I can tell you. I can tell you, if you are not from Germany, there are in fact 2 Halles in Germany. We have Halle an der Saale, where we are currently, and we have Halle Westfalen, which you may know from the Gary Weber Open, if you are a tennis fan, which were held there a long time, like it was a grass tennis tournament. This is what it's mostly well known for. So if you're planning to visit Halle, make sure you're going to the right Halle, and I got a thumbs up from my very handsome co-caster who definitely doesn't wear a wig. We were asked this earlier, it's his natural hair. But he pointed out to me that maybe some of you would have the chance to wear his hair as a wig because he's donating his hair. This is correct, right? Yes. You shouldn't have taught me that. Okay, We will be back with an interview of Ingo very shortly. We now go to a quick break, 1 or 2 minutes, and then we will have an interview. Thank you for watching and see you soon.
And we are back with our winners interview here from round 4. And yeah, Ingo, how does it feel to resolve Graceful Charity 4 times in a turn?
It feels amazing, especially if you got like good discard fallers, like good monsters which get synergies by discarding, especially like Night of Silent, like Sinister Serpent, and Thunder Dragons.
Yeah, and you are playing all of these to an extent that resolving 4 Graceful Charities never hurt you.
Actually, I never resolved 4 charities in a game before, actually, so it's pretty funny. But I had luck that I had no nobleman and stuff like for my Magician of Faith in the early game,
Yeah, so where do you come from and what is your goat background?
I'm living in Nuremberg and I'm playing goats for like almost 20 years. Like not the whole time, I had like little breaks between, but mostly I started like back when goat was like original format. Like.
So you are like the OG player, and then was it like the like quote-unquote standard progression that we have here, that you brought your goat deck through tournaments and played like advanced format, or did you just meet up with your friends for this whole time to play this specific format?
Mostly we meet up with friends in the beginning and started like playing at home, but then there was like a local community growing up in Nuremberg actually, which had like local tournaments and also like GGPs at local areas, so we actually went there. But sadly, there is no local GGPs or like government and stuff like in Nuremberg anymore. So we actually was going here to play here. Yeah.
I mean, if you are like spoiled with going to the Nuremberg GGP, now you have to drive a little bit further.
A little bit, yeah.
But yeah. In your deck, we saw some spice, you would say. You were playing like a turbo-esque deck, but then you had like a little bit of control there, and you went for 2 Dekoichis and 2 Dark Mimics, am I right?
I'm actually playing 3 Dekos, 1 Mimic.
3 Dekos, 1 Mimic, okay.
I'm actually playing a little bit higher monster count, which was my decision to play against like the Trap Dust Shoot. Okay. Because I wanted to be able to still have like a starter monster.
Yeah, I mean, if you always have 2 monsters in hand, Dust Shot does nothing.
Yeah, basically. I mean, if it takes like you BLS in an advanced game, it still hurts you a lot. Yeah, but it's good if you got still a starter after you get Trap Dust Shoot in the first turn.
Yeah, that sounds definitely reasonable. So yeah, anything else you want to give our
shoutouts, for example.
Shoutouts, for example.
Yeah, like I would give a shout out to my Nuremberg, like to my group out of Nuremberg, like my people out of Nuremberg, and my GOAT players, and let's hype. GOAT format is the best.
GOAT format is indeed the best. So yeah, thanks for your interview.
No problem.
Thanks for the time. Thanks for your very cool deck, and we'll see each other again in the next round.